Next is Koufuku Graffiti. The story follows Ryo, a middle school girl who lives by herself. She has a knack for cooking, and she makes friendships with everyone through her food. The cooking manga is full of detailed cuisine art to whet the appetite and slightly erotic meal scenes. The Koufuku in the title is a wordplay on two Japanese homonyms, on one which means happiness and another that means appetite. See, that's actually useful information, because as someone who doesn't know Japanese, obviously, it's nice to know that kind of detail, and it's like, oh, so that's what the title's going for. But when you tell me what the fucking origin of some character's name is that seems completely irrelevant to the story, why the fuck should I care? It's just trying to be deeper than it actually is. Anyways, that was enough ranting about that. So, this is being done by Shaft, which, as usual, means Shinbo's on board, and I'm probably not gonna bother. I don't care for Shinbo anymore. I'm going to explain why. I was originally going to do a video on this, but I'm just going to explain it right here because I can do it in like a minute. Hopefully. It'll probably go longer than that because I'm me. So, Shinbo's known for his eccentric directing, which can be a good thing. It served something like Madoka Magica extremely well. But he also directed things like Nisekoi, which admittedly the story didn't really help because it doesn't really go anywhere, but the thing with Shinbo's directing nowadays is that it doesn't seem like it's eccentric because that's just his style. I mean, it is his style, but it seems like it's more than that. It feels like Shinbo's eccentric with his directing because otherwise the show he's directing bores him. Like, there was a gag in the Nisekoi show where, it was, I believe he was on his fake date with Shitoge, and he came across Onodera. And whatever the lead main character's name is, couldn't, like, talk properly to Onodera, and he, like, kept telling the truth or something. I don't know. But the entire sketch basically went into, the visuals went into, like, a manga format. Like, each kind of thing was, like, a panel, although they were still kind of moving in the panels, I believe. And it just kept moving across the panels like it was in the manga. But the thing is that visual didn't add anything to the joke. There was nothing inherently, like, really manga about the joke. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there was, and I just didn't get it. But the joke in and of itself wasn't enhanced by the manga visual of it doing that. It was just, well, here's a random thing, you know? It was more humor in a random sense than a humor in an enhancing the joke sense because, you know, the manga format made visual additions to the joke. It was, there was nothing else manga about what was going on. I mean, it's adapted from a manga, but still. So that's why I got the impression that Shinbo was just bored and he just said, do this visual because otherwise he was bored watching the own show he's directing. That's the impression I got. And I got that a couple more times in Makaku City Actors. So it just feels like Shinbo's bored directing some of these shows, and the only way he stops being bored is by doing these wacky things. Which, I mean, sure, wackiness and creativity is great, but you have to know how to channel it. You know, you can't just throw it in because you're bored. So, I don't know. I'm probably wrong, and he's not bored at all, but that's the impression I get from his directing recently, and I don't want to bother with it. So, I'm just not going to bother. Not going to bother. So moving on, we have Juuou Mujin no Fafnir. In the unlimited school battle action story, the world was transformed by the sudden appearance of monsters known collectively as dragons. Before long, girls known as D were born with the dragon's power. A boy named Yu Mononobe is the world's only male D. Although his existence is kept secret, he is forced to enroll into Midgar, a school for D girls. Where he sees a female student, Iris, naked. Oh god. Moreover, he is reunited with his long-separated little sister, Mitsuki. This is like, I would say Token Visual Novel 101, but it's based off a light novel. So, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. It's like, I feel like that synopsis really speaks for itself. And it kind of does. Also, this is being done by Diomedia, the studio that's also doing the Magical Boys show. So maybe this is like their B team, and they're just like, do a show. And they're like, okay, let's adapt this fucking old as shit light novel. I'm pretty sure Fafner's a pretty old light novel. And it's full of dumb crap. I don't know. Whatever. So that's that. I feel like the synopsis speaks for itself. I'm not going to bother with it. Moving on, we have Soukyuu no Fafnir, Dead Aggressor Exodus, sequel to the Fafner Heaven and Earth movie. If you don't know what that is, which is completely fair, because it aired like fucking a decade ago, I don't even know what it is. I didn't even watch it. It was a decade ago. All I know is it was a movie that aired a decade ago. They're finally doing a sequel to it. And it's like, why? I don't understand why it's a thing a year later, or 10 years later. But hey, maybe I'm sure there are people that watched Fafner and enjoyed it a lot and are glad that it's getting a sequel. And if so, great, good. You know what? Maybe it's because it's Zebek. Zebek is a dude that's been going down the shitter lately. They mainly do a lot of fanservice shows, but their shows have been kind of like failing lately because they've just been bad. You know, they just kind of suck. So they haven't been selling well, and maybe they're just desperate. And they're like, well, let's adapt this movie from 10 years ago that people liked. Or let's make a sequel to this movie from 10 years ago that people liked. Maybe that'll work. I don't even know if Zebek did the movie 10 years ago. I have no clue. Point is, here's the sequel if you want it. If you don't, whatever. There's a lot of sequels coming up. I can go right through these. The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, anime adaptation of the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls mobile game related to the Idolmaster. So it's not technically a sequel, it's related to. It's basically a fucking sequel to the Idolmaster. It says Cinderella Girls. I don't really bother with Idolmaster, except the doujins. There are just certain, shows that lend themselves so well to doujinshi. It's amazing. So, yeah, this is a thing. And this, Cinderella Girls does have Best Girl in it, but even then, I'm not sure if I want to bother. Maybe I'll figure out which episode she's in after it's over, and then I'll watch those. But otherwise, I'm not going to bother. Moving on, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders Egypt arc. Sequel to, we know. Basically, this isn't really even a sequel. This is basically just the continuation. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders was split core, so they did, was it 24, 25, or 26 episodes? I don't remember. I think it was like 25 episodes. I don't even remember. Basically, there was that many episodes, and then they took did they take two seasons off? No, I think it was only one season. I think they took only one season off. They took a season off, and now it's coming back. So it was split core, it's coming back. Awesome. And they're finally in Egypt. It took them a bunch of episodes just to get to Egypt, and now they're finally there. They still have a bunch of random lackeys to fight, but hey, now we'll finally get to Dio, and this, I don't think there's any more after this, so this will wrap up Stardust Crusaders, and then hopefully we'll get the 4th JoJo, and the 5th JoJo, and the 6th JoJo, and we'll just keep going on from there. Because there are a lot of people, it's interesting because a lot of people's rankings as far as JoJo goes is sporadic. It's very infrequently that people will have the same opinion on JoJo's as far as which, I don't know if I should call them arcs. I guess I'll call them arcs. As far as which arcs were the best in whatever order. But from what I've heard, it could just be an exception just based off the people I've heard. It could just happen to be that the people I've heard it's a coincidence, but it seems like the further in you get, the more people like it. With the exception of the second arc, which a lot of people liked. A lot of people liked Joseph Joestar. Or was that the first one? Fuck. God damn it. It's hard to remember all these JoJo names, god damn it. Anyways, a lot of people liked Battle Tendency. But a lot of people also like a lot of the later arcs. They get kind of crazy. I've heard things about the later arcs, and they get even more crazy than they are now, which is just awesome. So I'm hoping David Production gets to keep going, and they keep adapting JoJo, and they get to keep doing it. That would be amazing. So I'm hoping that's the case, and they get to keep doing it. Anyways, point is, JoJo's back. Fuck yeah. Moving on, we have Assassination Classroom, which I actually remember the title for. A humorous and action-packed story about a class of misfits who are trying to kill their new teacher. An alien octopus with bizarre powers and super strength. The teacher has just destroyed the moon and is threatening to destroy the Earth unless the students can destroy him first. What makes things more complicated is that he's the best teacher they've ever had. So basically, this is a pretty popular... Is it a shonen manga? I don't know. I think it's a shonen manga, but it's pretty popular. And it seems pretty fun. It's got a cool synopsis, weird fucking alien thing wants to destroy the Earth, and the students have to learn to kill him ahead of time. And I don't know if he actually teaches them how to kill him, or if they have to learn on their own time and he's just teaching them general knowledge. I don't know. It seems like a cool story, and it seems like words are failing me right now. It seems like it'd be pretty cool. So I definitely want to give it a shot. At worst, maybe the jokes will get repetitive, But if that gets to be the case, you can always drop it. It's not too big a deal. But it seems like it'd actually be pretty cool. That's always the thing with shonen manga. Is shonen manga always have really, really cool ideas, but then they get really, really boring because they go on for so long and it drags things out, and then they just don't know what to do anymore, and then it just gets kind of boring and, that kind of thing. Honestly, the biggest issue with shonen manga is pacing. Sometimes there's exceptions, sometimes they know what they're doing with pacing, but most of the time they don't. But generally they have really good ideas, and this is no different. It is a really good idea, and hopefully the pacing isn't real wonky. It probably won't get like 1 billion episodes like usual shonen manga do. It'll probably just get like 26 at most, which will be nice because it'll help the pacing a lot. So it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it actually quite a bit. So it'll be neat. I think the only show I'm looking more forward to is the 2nd season of Tokyo Ghoul. Otherwise, I'm actually pretty excited for this show, so it could be cool. Actually, I lied. Next show is Death Parade. Alternate retelling of the Death Billiards movie. So if you don't know, I did a mini review on Death Billiards, and I still kind of refuse to call it a movie because it's still only about, the length of an episode of something. But it's a movie because I believe all of the, God, what is it called? Young Animator Training Projects aired at once, so it was technically one movie. I think that's how the case goes. I don't know, whatever. And I liked it quite a bit. I thought it had some really cool ideas and concepts, and I thought maybe it was a little more misleading than it was, giving off to be. That wasn't proper English, but I think people got what I meant. Some people thought it was pretty straightforward about what happened, but I don't know, maybe it was misleading. And that's what's so cool, is that it makes you think about things, like maybe there's more to this than meets the eye, that kind of a thing. The only thing that's a problem is I don't know how Death Billiards would work in a TV format. I get that they could do a different game each episode, but obviously they need to have like 2 people at least, I guess. Maybe they can have more per episode with some kind of conflict, and then, they can't be super vague about who goes where each time. I mean, maybe they can. The problem is, Death Billiards is something that works really, really, really well as a one-shot kind of thing, and I don't know how it'll work in a TV format. I don't necessarily think it'll be bad. I think at worst it'll just be okay, but I'm just a little worried about how it'll work in TV format, how it'll adapt to a TV format. But it could all be for nothing. It could turn out to be very, very good for all I know. So I really hope it turns out to be very, very good, because I'm going to watch it. I hope it turns out to be excellent. I'm just a little worried about how it'll do in TV format, as I keep saying, and I need to stop saying. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I don't have a script. I say that at like every season preview. Moving on, we have Shonen Hollywood Holly Stage for 50. So it's a sequel to the Shonen Hollywood Holly Stage for 49 TV series. So they're adding in a dude. Is it the dude on the promo art? He's pointing to himself, or maybe that's someone else's finger. I can't tell. It's like, it's so zoomed in, I can't tell if it's someone else pointing to him, or if it's like his arm around the side pointing to himself. I can't tell. Anyways, point is, it's a sequel to Shonen Hollywood. If you like Shonen Hollywood, here's your sequel. If you didn't, then you don't need to watch it. Moving on, we have a sequel to the Durarara TV series, which is only like, like 4 years late, whatever. So, the thing about Durarara was it was quite cool. It was quite good, but the ending was pretty lackluster. That was the general problem people had with it, was that the ending arc was kind of boring. It was kind of whatever. But who cares? Because we're getting more Durarara now by a studio called Shuka, who I've never heard of before. Maybe they did the first season of Durarara. I wasn't really paying attention to studios back when Durarara aired, so maybe they did the first season of Durarara. Or for all I know, it's just a random studio. They're like, we want more Durarara, we'll do it for you. And so they're adapting more of it. I don't know. Obviously, at this point, people would be like, what we really need is more Baccano, but that's never going to happen, because Baccano sold even worse in Japan than Durarara did. To be fair, Durarara didn't even sell that badly. It sold not too great, but it was okay. I guess for the length of episodes, though, it probably wasn't too good. Maybe. I don't know. Point is, more Durarara, which is sweet. Yeah. It should be cool. Maybe. Hopefully. It could turn out to be a flop. You never know, but I'm going to watch it. It should be pretty cool. Anyways, so next is Aldnoah Zero 2, which is obviously more Aldnoah Zero, which cut off at a season because it was also split core, so it didn't air last season, but now it's back. I don't even know if I have words. I'm gonna watch it because I watched the first part, and now it's more of it. Who knows what'll happen? Yay! Moving on. We have Dog Days, apostrophe, which is the 3rd season of Dog Days. Jesus Christ. I watched the first season of Dog Days, and it was alright, I guess. And then I watched like 4 episodes of the 2nd season of Dog Days, and I was like, okay, this is more of the same, but with a couple new characters. And now there's a 3rd season, and it's like, how is this selling so well? I don't even think it sells that well. How is it getting enough money for more seasons? I don't understand. So, you know, whatever. It's more Dog Days. So, if you want more Dog Days, here you go. I'm just gonna stick to the doujinshi. That's a common pattern for this season. I'm just gonna stick to the doujinshi. So, yeah, I'm not gonna bother. Moving on, we have the Rolling Girls. It's been 10 years since the Tokyo Great Decisive Battle, a Japan where all the prefectures have become independent countries. A not-so-ordinary story about ordinary girls according to ordinary girls. Ordinary will save the Earth? What's interesting, well, I guess every show has something interesting about it for the most part. This is being done by Wit Studio, as you all know from Attack on Titan. They also did a couple other shows, but people didn't really care about them. So we're just going to say that they did Attack on Titan. So it's interesting that, I like that they do different things. You know, they're kind of like stirring the pot. Stirring their pot? I don't know. That's even not a good phrase. I don't even think that's accurate. They're basically just trying a bunch of stuff. You know, they're doing a bunch of different shows. Source material, or I guess this isn't even source material, it's an original show. So they're doing a bunch of random things, which is not random in and of itself, but just that the shows they do are random, like different genres and such. So this is basically like cute girls on a road trip, which, I don't know, could be good. I don't know, I'm kind of interested in it to just see what happens, if anything. If it turns out to be boring, I can just drop it after all, but, so, I don't know, it seems like it could be interesting, so I want to see where it goes, so I'm going to watch it. Next we have Kuroko no Basuke 3, which is the 3rd season of Kuroko no Basuke. I've heard good things about Kuroko no Basuke, but I have not watched Kuroko no Basuke, so if you've watched Kuroko no Basuke Season 1 and Kuroko no Basuke Season 2, then here's your Kuroko no Basuke Season 3. Congratulations. Moving on, we have Yoru no Yatterman. Yatterman Kingdom is a heavenly land controlled by the Yattermen, the allies of justice. In order to save her sick mother, a girl attempts to land in Yatterman Kingdom to ask for help. However, she is turned away and her mother passes away. Durarara, one of the bands of great thieves. Durarara, one of the bands of great thieves. There was a beautiful girl named Duranja working under a boss named Dokurabe. Her lackeys were 2 men named Boyaki and Tanzura. The Durarara fight with Yatterman, and within the fray, the team is banished to a remote land. This is the story of a new generation of Duraras, Toronji, Boyaki, and Tanzura, as well as the story of the birth of Ganshen and Aichan as Yatterman. Jesus Christ, so many names. So, if I recall, which I don't, Yatterman sounds familiar. Again, I have no research done on this right now, which I should have done, but Yatterman sounds familiar, and I think it's a series that's been a thing, not necessarily a thing, but was a thing at the very least a while ago, and now they're bringing it back, which it's not adapted from anything, but maybe it could just be an original story based on the universe. But I don't know, Yatterman just sounds so familiar. But then again, there's a lot of something man in Japan, so who knows. This is one of those shows where I'm not too interested in it based off on the get-go, but it's something I'll keep an ear out on, and if it turns out to be cool, then I'll pick it up. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna bother. But, I don't know. It's so weird. The promo art's kind of cool, though. They're standing on, like, a skull thing. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on, we have Junketsu no Maria. The story follows Maria, the most powerful witch who lives during the 100 Years' War in France. She despises war, so she obstructs battles with her strong... She obstructs battles with her strong magical powers. Her meddling with her succubus Artemis and incubus Priapos has caught the attention of the heavens, and so the Archangel Michael issues an edict. When Maria loses her virginity, she will also lose her magical powers. A beautiful angel named Ezekiel is supposed to watch Maria and make sure the witch does not use magic in front of people, but Maria continues to use magic anyways. So, you would think based off a synopsis like that is stupid fan servicey shit, especially about her losing her powers when she loses her virginity. But here's the thing. It's not, well, I mean, maybe it sort of is. The primary source material is a comedy, so it's not really, like, fan servicey like that. I mean, there are fan servicey things that are also comedy, but, you know. Basically, This takes place during the 100 Years' War, as it said. And she controls things with her succubus and incubus. So basically she uses sex to basically stop people from fighting because she despises war. So she basically gets her fucking minions to fuck people senseless and stop them from fighting, which is actually kind of hilarious. So I'm gonna watch it. It's, yeah. I always feel like I'm gonna add more and then I don't add more. I don't know. Anyways, point is, it's actually kind of cool. If you were gonna not watch it originally because of like weird fan service synopsis, give it a shot. It may not be what you think. So maybe it will be what you think. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna devolve it into dumb fan servicey shit. It's not like it's the first time an adaptation's taken material and been like, let's go full fan service. But who knows? All I'm saying is that it's actually kind of funny. So give it a go if you can. Next we have Seiken Tsukai no World Break. The campus sword and sorcery story is set in private high school that brings together saviors, youth with awakened memories from past lives. Some of them are Shirogane, I don't know, who fight enemies with weapons and techniques gleaned from the piranha? Like a fish piranha? Piranha powers from their own bodies. I know it's not spelled the same way, but still. Others are Kuroko who wipe out enemies with magic to manipulate the mana powers that surpass physics. A boy named Moroha Haimura enrolls in this school. He is the first person in history with past lives of both Shirogane and Kurama. So, I don't know. Like, off that promo material, and there's a lot of girls in the promo material, you just can't tell because it's, like, cut off because of the image and such. It could be dumb harem crap, but, I like the art. Which I know is shot. Diomania? I just realized this is being done by Diomania too. What the fuck? Diomania is doing this. They're doing fucking Fafner. Oh my god, I just realized. One is Fafner and one's Fafnir. Oh god. The really dumb harem one is Fafnir. And the possibly good one is Fafner. Okay. So they're doing that, and then they're also doing Magical Boys. How many fucking people are Diomania? What the fuck are they doing? That's so many shows. I don't understand. What the fuck? Anyways, point is, I kind of like the art, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the character design with the white patch, which is like really weird. I can't explain why, I just kind of do. I don't know. The sword looks kind of cool too. I think the last time I picked up a show based on fucking art like this, and a synopsis similar to this though, was Magical Warfare, which turned out to be a horrible, horrible mistake. So maybe this will also be a horrible, horrible mistake, but I don't know. I want to pick it up just based off the art, and then if it sucks, I'll drop it. I don't know. Next, we have Sengoku Musou. The story takes place in Japan's tumultuous Sengoku era, where violent battles are being raged across the country. The passionate and painful story follows the troubled fate of the Sanada brothers, who have sworn an oath that no matter what, they will fight to the bitter end together. So this could be actually kind of cool, you know, it's, you know, more classic, like, oh, I gotta do stuff. But I've never really been on board for Japan being obsessed with their Sengoku era. Among other eras, I don't know. I don't know if it's all Sengoku era or not. I don't know the eras in Japan. But, like, I don't know if it's the same era, but, like, all the Nobunaga shows they do. But, I mean, keep in mind, I like it when they go crazy. Like, Nobunaga the Fool was amazing. But when they go serious, it's just kind of boring, because, like, there's this, they have such, I don't mean that in a bad way, but Japan is, like, passionate and fascinated with, you know, their past eras, and I can appreciate that, but I don't care, like, myself, like, as not part of that, like, I'm not from that culture, so I'm not as fascinated by it or whatever, so, you know, it's just something that, like, kind of goes over my head, and how amazing it is, I guess, I don't know. If people are saying it's quite good and they like it, maybe I'll pick it up. Excuse me. But another problem with doing this right after waking up, I don't know. I'm also trying not to pick up that many shows this season because I need to get stuff done. And the more shows I pick up, the longer it takes me to do things because I have too many shows to keep up with. I still have shows from last season I need to finish. Quite a few of them, actually. So, yeah. I don't know. If it's good, maybe I'll pick it up. If not, then I don't really care. Next is Isuka. The story revolves around Shinichiro, a male student who gets a job as a housekeeper in order to pay his rent. While on the job, he accidentally releases a strange creature into the world and he learns that a female employer named Sakia Shimazu is the head of the Shimazu clan that hunts those creatures. Shinichiro cooperates with her to hunt down the monsters that are running loose. I'll watch it. I'm going to explain why. It's for the most shallow reason possible. It's because it reminds me of Shanna. Whenever something reminds me of Shanna, I need to watch it. And to be fair, I liked Venatus. It wasn't an amazing show, but Venatus was something else I picked up because it reminded me of Shanna, and it was actually kind of okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, you know, it was alright. So, you know, I say that, but I actually haven't finished the show. I'm like halfway through the show, but I'm enjoying it for what it is. Maybe it turns full stupid by the end, I don't know. But for what I'm seeing so far, I like it. And this is another show that reminds me of Shanna, because it's like, oh, release a monster. Well, him releasing a monster isn't exactly it, but the fact that she's like gotta hunt the creatures and then he helps her do it, you know, it reminds me of Shanna. So I'm gonna watch it, and I don't know, maybe it'll be good. Probably won't be. Maybe it will be. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. If it's dumb, I'll just drop it or something. Moving on, we have Go Princess PreCure, the 12th television series in the PreCure Magical Girls anime franchise. If you like PreCure, here's fucking installment 12 of PreCure. Yay. If not, then don't bother, because so many fucking shows. I don't think PreCure's really a show that you need to watch all the seasons to get caught up on, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of intimidating. So, you know, if you haven't watched PreCure, then don't really need to bother. But if you have, here's more PreCure for you. Yay. And then finally, we have Anime to Wakuro Shinryonaika, I think. The story centers on the psychologist Ryo and his nurse Asuna. The pair explain aspects of mental illness through a series of loosely connected cases. With a light-hearted tone, the doctor helps readers understand conditions such as depression, adjustment disorder, and Asperger's syndrome. So, I don't know if this is actually educational or not. Like, part of me thinks it's educational, like a genuine educational show, but then the doctor's like, it seems like he's constantly crying, like those tears are like painted to his face, and then the nurse has a hammer, and then the other one looks like she's like into bondage porn, or is like just yeah. Maybe that's part of the lighthearted tone, and it's like comedic or something. I don't know. I'd actually be kind of interested in watching this if it's a thing, if it's actually educational. It's probably a couple of shorts, you know. I doubt it's a full-blown show. But if it actually gets picked up by someone, then I might actually want to watch this. If not, then I don't really care. Yeah. And that's that. That's the entire chart. It's actually kind of shorter than it usually is. It still took me like fucking ages to get through it, I'm sure. I haven't looked at the time yet. Let me look at the time right now. It took me... Oh, wow, it's only been like an hour. That's way shorter than usual. Kudos to me! Except it'll probably be even shorter in the video because I have to cut certain things out. Anyways. There's also be the, you know, Blu-rays, OVAs, shit like that. So, you know, you can watch those if you want. Yeah. I always link the chart in the description, and then the page it's on too, in case it updates. So you can just look at the chart yourself if there's anything you want to watch. There's nothing I explicitly want to point out or anything. I mean, maybe there's a couple OVA episodes that I want to watch, but nothing I want to be like, hey, you should keep an eye out for this. Movie-wise, it's pretty much the same deal. There are some I would point out, but it's like, whatever, you know, it's not that big a deal. Like the Psycho-Pass movie, like everyone knows about the Psycho-Pass movie. Hopefully, it'll just pretend season 2 never fucking happened. So, we can only pray for a miracle there. Otherwise, movies, you know, more stuff you can just watch. Check out yourself, see if there are, you know, movies you want to watch or whatever. So, that was the season review. I'm glad I got through that, like, in half the amount of time it usually takes, so thank God for that. And pretty sure everyone watching is also listening, I should say, is also thankful for that, because holy crap, that normally takes ages. So, hey, that's that. So, that was the season preview and stuff. I don't even remember how I usually end these. I think I'm just like, I don't know. Whatever. That was the season preview. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on whatever next video is. Okay, bye. I think that's how I usually end it. So, yeah, whatever I just said. Bye.